Good day, fellow champions of inclusion. I am Aaron, and this is the Inclusive Dad podcast, where we explore inclusion and make it practical. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me in exploring ways we can create a more inclusive world together. You are important, you matter, and you can make a difference. Today, my guest is Patti Bevilacqua. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Why don't you just start us off by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I live in British Columbia. In high school, I had a PE teacher who I wanted to be exactly like. And from the day I stepped into university until the day I graduated, it was the best time ever. Landed the perfect job. And before the end of my first year of the only job I wanted, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I didn't have any idea what that disease meant or could mean. I didn't know anybody because I was far away from school, and home was 1,000 miles away. And so I went to the internet and looked up all this stuff and figured I was doomed. And eventually, 6 years later, I left that job and wandered around life trying to find purpose again. And along the way, when you look at me sitting down, or I still drive, you would never say anything, but I walk with a bit of a limp. So when someone at the pub saw my husband help me walk down the stairs and then get in the car and drive away, when the police officer arrived at my front door saying somebody phoned and said I was a DUI, right? And then I started really paying attention. And so I thoroughly believe, Aaron, that everybody walks around with an invisible backpack full of bricks. We don't know their story. We need to get curious. And I'm going to jump right into my tip, Aaron. My tip is be curious about people. On the outside, they may look great. On the inside, you have no idea. And so through a smile and a small chat, not only do you learn something, this person feels valued, seen, and off to a better start of their next few hours or whatever. It's not hard. It's not hard. Let's start by, if somebody's struggling, what can I do to help you right now? Not, oh, there's really good services over there. Inclusion is about allowing people don't have to edit themselves to belong. They can walk into an environment and comfortably and confidently say, this is what I need, without the fear of being judged, overlooked, or treated like a problem to solve. And that's the one that really bothers me, right? I can go on and on, but
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit more about what you just said? That's the one that bothers me. Do you want to go in a little more detail about what
yeah,
you're talking about?
that's the one that bothers me, because sometimes people are struggling, and I've done it. I go over there really fast and I get involved and I take control. I've done that. And I've figured out that that's not my position. That's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to ask, what can I do to help you right now? Right? So now when I go to restaurants or movie theaters, I ask a few questions. Are there stairs or escalator, elevator? Is there washrooms close by? Um, can I get a seat on the aisle? And I had to learn that. I had to learn that. And there are people out there who are learning something every day about themselves and trying to develop a voice to be able to ask. And, inclusion is about creating a place where we all get a human experience. We all get to experience humanity. That's what inclusion is.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the trying to solve a problem. So I have a daughter, Cecilia. She's 23 and she has cerebral palsy and epilepsy, and she comes over a couple nights a week. And um, I have my ways of doing things, and then she wants to put her own shirt on, and I'm like, I try not. I started out trying to like be right there and watch her, and then I like realized that I have a hard time not like jumping in and giving her suggestions, which she does not want. So sometimes I just kind of watch from a distance, and she always figures it out. It's just not the way I would do it. But I've never watched other people put shirts on, I guess. So I don't, maybe nobody puts them on the way I do, but just it's like you said, you have that urge to like jump in and want to help. And it's like, nope, she wants to do it herself. And if it
Yes,
takes 5 to 10
yes,
minutes to get the shirt on, she's fine with it. So it's just, but yeah, there's that urge. Like if somebody looks like they're struggling, just to jump in and take over, so I
yes.
understand that part.
And there's the other side of it is somebody is struggling and people walk by, which I've done many times, and then assume, oh, they're drug addicts or they're homeless. And again, like you mentioned earlier, when somebody mentions you by name and the name is wrong, you realize that they're not a friend. When I did stop and talk, it didn't take me very long to figure out what kind of situation this was. And so it's, not assuming at all. And that's a change in thinking for lots and lots and lots of people. I think about people my mom and dad's age. I don't really remember their friends having struggles other than health issues, like it's just, I don't remember that growing up. And now, um, we all have this invisible backpack. Challenges, physical, financial, emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual, and on and on and on. And they all, people who are carrying these bricks all deserve the opportunity to lighten the load. They really do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you said that you don't remember that kind of stuff. I don't remember it either because growing up, I don't. My family didn't talk about a lot of stuff, so it was all this. I mean, I I thought like like pastors, teachers, anybody in positions, like they were perfect. You couldn't question them. Like I didn't. Saw like my grandparents. I'm like, oh, they never did anything wrong in their childhood. And then you get older and start hearing stories. It's like, okay, wow, that they did. I guess they also did stuff, but it's just you didn't talk about it. So then you just didn't
No.
think anybody else was struggling, but everybody was. We just didn't talk about it. So
Yeah.
which is not super healthy because then it's like I'm going through something and it's like nobody else is talking about this. Am I the only person doing like what's wrong with me? So yeah, there's a lot of negatives to that for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, there's just so many missing pieces because we
yeah,
went from the generation of our parents to ours and now a generation that is struggling. Our role models, I was Italian Catholic, children were to be seen and not heard. And then over here, when I was teaching, you know, I had students who were navigating some kind of issue, and I didn't have anything over here to refer to, right? So it's a learning process, but it's a wonderland. It is. It's inclusion is not scary and negative. Inclusion is a bright light for somebody and a a pat on the back for you. You know, you can be somebody's champion. When I'm at the grocery store, it's case lot, so I bought a huge box of apple juice. Couldn't lift it. So a gentleman came over and asked, "How can I help?" I said, "Could you put this in the back of the car?" And he did, and I said, "Thanks for being my hero today." And he looked at me, and I said, "Yeah, thanks." And I was in a good place because I was able to go home, and he's somebody's hero for the day. So that's a win-win. That's an easy thing we can do, right? Be clear on how others can help. And I know not every situation I'm calm and can articulate that. I get that. But it's worth a try for all of us, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I listened to your TEDx talk and it was really good. I've done a couple myself, so that was a pretty fun experience. In yours, you talked a little bit about movement and how I think I mean I could get this wrong, but how you had like a certain definition in your mind of what movement meant, and then kind of what changed that for you. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I was an athlete in high school and an athlete in university, and I taught physical education. So movement was everywhere. Um, I cycled outside of school. I had a gym membership. Um, I run, jump, everything, right? And then when I left phys ed, I couldn't do those things anymore. And I lost my identity because my identity was a PE teacher. So I went back to university and did a PhD. And in one of the classes, I was presenting about my experience. And I couldn't make it through because it was very emotional. And what I learned from that, my classmates said, "You know what, Patty, you're not any less because you're not moving like you used to. You're moving your mind now. You're moving your heart. You're moving your lived experiences from just a lived experience to something maybe that will help others." And that's what I realized. It's a different way of moving. And I move every day. And that in itself, Erin, it was very therapeutic for me. I may not run anymore and I can't jump off the ground with 2 feet, but I move every day still. And that's a darn good feeling.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Thanks for sharing. You also shared some like stories where you talk to other people with MS and kind of do some mindset shifting. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about that part of your life as well?
Mhm. During COVID, I created a Facebook group for women with MS. And in Canada, out of every 4 people who are diagnosed with MS, 3 are women. And I got a very good following in that group and met women all over the world. And then spouses were getting hold of me. Can we be a part of it? And then caregivers. And I thought, you know what? This isn't about MS. And so I shared stories, and we're storied people and we learn from other people's stories. And one day I was talking to a lady, and she was getting her electric wheelchair. And a lot I talk about is the mindset shift. MS doesn't stand for multiple sclerosis. It stands for mindset shift. And it's a different way of seeing. It's a different way of thinking. And this lady was really nervous because she felt she was going to be judged because she was in an electric wheelchair. And I said, let's flip it. No way, right? You're now going to be 100% safe. You're not going to fall anymore. You can go anywhere you want to. Don't think of it as a challenge or a obstacle. Think of it as a tool. You now can go where you want to. And she was going to check out the local casino. And it is the mindset shift. The mind is powerful, and when I started teaching, I had a saying, master's by 30, PhD by 40. And I must have said it 100 times a day. And I did it. And it was mind power and belief in myself. So sometimes shutting off the noise and looking for some space to just sit and be for a minute and come at it a different way has helped me tremendously. And so I'm a mindset shifter, and I encourage others to do the same.
Who in your life has like influenced how you see the world and stuff? You seem like a very positive person, have a really great outlook. Is there somebody in your life that kind of helped you get there, or?
Um, uh, my dad would be number one. My family, um, students, because part about being a teacher for me was connecting with the young people. And my husband is a PE teacher as well. And we are so grateful for the number of students that come through our town and stop for a beer, take us out for lunch. We're still waiting for someone to name a child after us, but Patty and Paul are two simple names these days. I think they didn't know. I never came out and said, hey, teaching, hey, all my students, I have MS. They knew something was different, but they didn't really know. But now I'm hearing, you never stopped. You never quit. You always showed up. You always set an example for us. And that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful stuff. My love of life definitely comes from my family, my parents, my dad. He'd like to joke. He'd like to enjoy people. And I never saw my dad get angry, right? He always would come at it from a different way, but he got his point across. It doesn't have to be rude, obnoxious, inappropriate. There are other ways to do things. And I think I just sucked it all in. And you know what? My life is a heck of a lot more enjoyable when I'm happy, right? It's less energy to be happy.
That's true. That's a great point. So I think how long have you had MS, or how long since you were diagnosed?
35 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so is there for MS, is there medication to take, or how diet, or how do you?
Yeah. For me, actually, I have done no disease modifying treatments. I make good choices. I learned the hard way that I have to listen to my body. And when the body says, you need a break, and I push, was not good endings. I was falling a lot. Um, there are disease modifying therapies. There are diets that Dr. Terry Wall uh, is very much at the forefront in terms of how diet helps. Exercise. I walk every day, and to me, it doesn't matter how far I go. It's just going forward. So I try and get in a minimum of 30 minutes a day. Some days it doesn't look very pretty, but it's for me, right? And I think that's a big one. I think um, getting some kind of movement, whether it's assisted with physio, I believe gets everything working. And I find when I'm walking, um, I'm thinking. I'm thinking about things that I can do or write about, or somebody I want to visit or touch base with. So I'm on the very lucky end. My disease has been kind to me. I know there are people that struggle. The difficulty breaks my heart. Go easy on yourself. No, you don't ask for help when you need it, and be clear on what you need. Not easy to get there, but I encourage all the time.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. What do you like to do for fun?
Mm. I love to tell jokes. I wish I had a platform where I could become a stand-up comedian. I love NHL hockey and playoffs with Montreal tonight. Woohoo! We are a rugby family. We went to New Zealand in 2011 for the Rugby World Cup. It was a trip of a lifetime. It was amazing. I love going out with friends for coffee. I love the taste of coffee. I I just like being with people. Being with people is when I'm the happiest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome. I don't know anything about rugby. I know a little bit about hockey, but yeah, that's not. We like going to concerts, so that's kind of our thing to go to
right,
concerts. So
right. We moved to a very small town from Vancouver, and there's nothing here. And so when I look at all the concerts that are in Vancouver, it's an 8-hour drive for us. I'm like, "Ugh, wish we still lived there. That would be a good one." So we get to listen to artists, musicians who were popular when I was 16, right? They come through town every now and then.
it's cool though. Yeah, that's fun. How big a town do you live in?
About 4,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in a small town in southern Minnesota. I think it's like 5 or 600 on the sign, but we're close to some other towns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Our hospital doesn't deliver babies. They don't do anything. They have lots of ambulances, and they take you 2 hours either direction to the bigger centers. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. Let's see. Have you? I mean, okay. So I saw that you have a book. Do you want to maybe talk about your book or why you wrote it or what you hope people
Yes.
get out of it?
Sure. My book is titled MS Doesn't Define Me, a biography of a polymath. And a polymath is somebody who has experience in a lot of different things and has skills and talents and ideas in a bunch of different areas. It's my story. And at the end of every chapter are a series of reflection questions that help people see the strategies or my way of thinking and apply it to their own situation. Um, it's it was such a perfect time to write because with my thesis and all the writing I had done to date, I did know I was eventually heading to a book. That wasn't why I was doing all this other stuff, but it definitely helped. It's available on Amazon as an ebook. It's available as an audiobook on Barnes & Noble, and more platforms are becoming available. And the hard covers are at the printer, and they should be getting shipped out to different bookstores soon. And it's authentic, it's honest, it's funny, it's some low points, but yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What's a lesson that you've learned while having MS that would apply to like anybody, regardless if they have MS or not?
hmm When you see a no, hear the word no, see an obstacle in your way, it's not a dead end. Take a look, because there's a detour to an opportunity you never thought existed. So, safe travels, my friend. No is not the end of the road. It's a detour to something better.
That's great. Where's the best place for everybody to connect with you if they want to get in touch?
hmm Instagram, I'm fearless with MS. And my website, which I have a difficult last name, so I will share it with you and you can put it in the show notes.
Sure. Yep.
Um, and then if you really yell loud enough and make the ground shake, maybe I can find you.
It's awesome. If there's one thing you hope listeners take away from your story, what would it be?
Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Have some grace, go easy, right? Um, we don't know other people's stories. So please don't judge and assume until you know.
Yeah, that's a great, yeah. It is interesting how fast we sum somebody up and come to conclusions. It's yeah. And also like I mean, growing up, I don't know what happened, but I don't know if there was one time where somebody picked up a hitchhiker and something like went horribly wrong, but even after that, like I see hitchhikers now or somebody on the side of the road, like it goes flashes in my mind. Well, they could like do something to you. It's like I don't know where it came from, but those
hmm
messages that we have to fight in our own brain, like I mean, I don't know that this person, if I feel like I should help them, I should, help them.
hmm
That's
hmm hmm
those messages that fly into our brains from wherever it's coming from. It's like
Absolutely. And the unknowns are, I mean, they're there, right? And so, you have to find a way. I would have to find a way to, um, get some more information. That's very difficult on this side of the road. And I've heard those stories as well, right? And I'm not any different. If I'm coming out of the university and somebody's hitchhiking right away, a student, I'll pick them up. And very often they just want to ride to the mall or to their work or whatever, right? Being in the middle of nowhere with a hitchhiker who might or might not have company or a dog, um, yeah, I make a judgment, right? And so I'm going against my own advice here, but you know what? The thing that I missed in this whole thing is safety is important as well, which is, what you're saying as well. So You don't have to run out and start talking to every single person. I mean, be safe and be smart, right? And our lived experiences and our memories and the stories we've heard will always play a part in what we do and say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing for me for the last couple of years, I've been trying to have more open space in my schedule because I've realized when I'm busy working all day, going from one thing to another, and you just don't have that time. It's first of all, you don't even see people in need if you're just flying around. And another thing is there was a couple of times I had to go to a meeting, so I was driving, and then somebody was on the side of the road with a flat tire, and it's like, oh dang it, I mean, if I stop and help them, then I'm gonna be late to my meeting, which I can't be late to. So it's like I couldn't help. So I've been trying to on purpose, build some extra time in,
Mhm.
maybe an extra 5 minutes here and there, which then if there is somebody, I have the opportunity to help. So I mean, I think that's
Ooh,
part of it.
yes,
You need
love
to
that.
have that time in your schedule. You need to be able to not have your face in your phone and see what's going on around you. So it's more
Absolutely.
awareness of what's happening too. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good. That's important. I need to do that. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right. Running from one appointment to the next, life still goes on outside this little screen in office. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Are you ready for the last question?
Yes.
Okay. Do you like spam lunch meat? Yes or no?
Yes.
That was quick.
When
So yeah,
I was
go ahead.
when I was in school and I'd come home, my mom was always home, and that were some of the best sandwiches.
There you go.
Fried spam, toasted sandwiches.
Yeah. I live near Austin, Minnesota, where they make spam and where the spam museum's at. If you ever want to visit the spam museum, you got to come to Austin, Minnesota.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I've been there a couple of times. They have a lot of history stuff and different things, so
Uh,
it's an interesting place. I
yeah.
think last year I saw it brought over 100,000 people into a town of 25,000, so it brings a
Oh,
lot of people in. So
that's cool. That's
yeah,
neat.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Erin. I appreciate you and for bringing this to the surface. And we're all champions. Oh, humankind, go.
Thank you. To those listening, thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey. It is truly an honor. Please join the podcast newsletter by clicking on the link in the episode description to keep up with the latest episode. Together, we can make the world more inclusive. Until next time, stay empowered and be a champion for inclusion.